Welcome to Robert Ginty, the Untold tapes. While researchers were carefully cataloging the Robert Ginty Archives, they discovered a pile of microcassettes. These tapes revealed that before his untimely demise, Robert Ginty was recording an oral history about his life and cinematic career. Quite a few academics were eager to use these tapes to write a definitive Robert Ginty biography, but we decided his fans truly need to hear Ginty tell his tale in his iconic voice. The actor, director, screenwriter, and producer kindly takes us through his monumental career. Follow him as he guides us through law school and the ruins of Western civilization, Italian style. Tonight's second episode has Robert Ginty discussed his brainiest role in the TV series, The Paper Chase. Without further explanation, the next voice you hear belongs to Robert Ginty.
I was really feeling nervous about being typecasted after Baba Black Sheep. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys. I've seen a lot of great talent, and, somehow they get hooked on a show and they just, nobody in the business and the audience, they don't want to accept him. And I'm thinking of the guy who played Ebb on Green Acres, because, that guy, great person, lovely person, talent. But people, it's Ebb, and that was it. So I was nervous that, that was going to do my career. I was going to be Mr. Baba Black Sheep. And then my agent, I told my agent about that. And he said, Ginty, grow your fucking hair out. No one's going to know you were on that show. And damn well he was right. Next thing you know, I'm on The Paper Chase. One of your great things. I know what you're going to say. Ginty, you're an Ivy Leaguer. You already went to an Ivy League school. Come on. Isn't this like some sort of typecasting? And I'm going to tell you right now, no, I was not playing myself on that show. I went to Yale. And the show is about Harvard. 2 different schools, 2 different places, 2 different worlds. I had to spend a month getting the Connecticut-isms out of me so I could play a Boston person. I had to make sure I was ordering the right type of lobster roll, not the Connecticut roll, but the lobster roll. And there's a difference. So, it was a big thing. It was a big thing to get on the Paper Chase because, it was a smart show. Very smart show about smart people doing smart stuff. And, there I am. And I remember my first day, the first day I showed up after I got cast and, and I'm all happy-go-lucky. It's like I'm on another hit show. I'm on another show. Well, this is good. And I get a message from one of the producers that John Houseman wants to see me in his dressing room. And I'm, this is Houseman's show. He won the Oscar for the movie, so, this is his thing. If Houseman had said no, there'd be no Paper Chase. It would probably be called, Law School 101 or some crap like that. That's the way things are. So I go up there to see Houseman. And I guess a lot of people are, they're all spooked about it. They're like, oh, it's Houseman. It's John Houseman, as if somehow, I'm going to be starstruck and, my feet are going to quiver and butterflies and all that stuff. I got to tell you, folks, I played drums. I played drums behind Jimi Hendrix. I played drums behind Janis Joplin. Okay. If I was a starstruck person, I could not play drums. You cannot keep the tempo and stare at Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin's ass for as long as they played and keep time and keep the show going if you're starstruck. And I was not starstruck. You know what I get? I get excited. I won't admit that. I get excited because I know I'm working with talent. And that talent is going to elevate my game. And that's what you want when you're an actor, when you're a serious actor, right? So I'm excited. And, a little bit excited. Either way, it's John Houseman. The guy worked with Orson Welles and all that stuff. So I walk up to his dressing room and I open the door and there's Houseman. And I realize he's got his Oscar for The Paper Chase sitting on his dressing table. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And, he welcomes me in and he goes, do you want to touch it? I said, no. Just let me look at it. Because I know it's a little superstition. If you hold an Oscar, you will never win an Oscar. And I still, I haven't won an Oscar, but you know what? There's always a chance because I never touched John Houseman's Oscar. And he seemed to like that part. And he sits me down and he goes, Mr. Ginty, I have 2 rules that I need you to follow. for our show to be good or great. And I said, okay, well, what are they? He said, first, Mr. Ginty, I expect you to know not just your lines, but everybody's lines for that day's work. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do that because, I got a brain for it. That's a talent. He said, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And it makes sense, because sometimes you got to know where your lines go. I mean, that's the thing. You memorize all your lines and you just blurt them out. So it makes sense to know this. And so I agreed to him. And then he looks at me and he says, and Mr. Ginty, if I ever sense your shadow on my face during a take, I will poke your eye out until I hit your brain and kill you. And I'm like, really? Really? And the guy was serious. He did not want his take. He's giving me this stare, and I'm waiting for him to break character or something, and he's not. He is serious about this shadow business. And he pulls out of his pocket this beautiful pen. Oh, beautiful fountain pen. It's like I guess it was a Mont Blanc. I mean, back then I didn't know anything about pens. There was Bic, the Bic Banana, and that was it. It was a Bic Banana. That was about the only pen I knew at that point in my life. But he takes out this fancy ass fountain pen, and I can see on the side of it in gold engraving, Love Orson. I'm like, oh. And I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna give me this cool pen to hold on to, as a pass it on. Some people do this. And he doesn't. Instead, he's still maintaining solid eye contact with me, and he unscrews the top of the pen, pulls it out, and then he holds the end of the pen up to my eyeball. And it's a sharp-ass pen. I mean, it's one of those, sharp-ass, beautiful pens, and it's got a sharp tip to it. I mean, it's like a dart. It's like he is pointing a dart, and I am the... And you know what? I know when I can't watch darts anymore because I empathize too hard with that dartboard from, this moment. But he holds it up there, and it's right there, and, a couple inches away. And he says, Mr. Ginty, if I sense your nose shadow on my cheek and it blows a take, this will be the last thing you will ever see in your life. And I'm waiting for him to bust out, cut character, like, little thing we're doing here, a little joke, little practical joke here. And fucking no, man, he is dead ass serious. And I'm like, yes, sir. And he screws the pen back and just says, I'm happy we've come to an agreement, Mr. Ginty. See you on the set. And I kid you not, man, I've done a lot of research. I've worked with, I've done research with killers, with psychopaths, with just, people who have done horrible, despicable things. And nothing has fucking frightened me more than John Houseman that day. Oh my Lord. And it's so much so that I would show up on the set in the time right when the lighting crew had finished lighting the set, and I would work with for 5 minutes or more with Houseman's stand-in, seeing where I can stand to make sure I didn't cast it on his toes. I wasn't gonna block. Look, my shadow was vanished. It was like Peter Pan. I had no shadow as far as John Houseman was concerned. It was quite frightening. And I like to tell my acting students when I pass on the craft to the young kids. And I don't tell them the story specifically about, the poke your eye out thing. I just tell them, maintain it. Don't cast shadows. Because I guess that's what that thing is about. And, during the weeks after this, I would talk with my other cast members. I would say, hey, did John Houseman give you the shadow talk? And they'd go, no. Nobody had gotten the talk like me. And I could tell. And I realized I was special to him. I was special to John Houseman, and I hope he felt that specialness when I was on the show.
And now a message from our sponsor. Does your chalk look so dull on a blackboard? Do you need to remind yourself to look at listless messages? Now get ready for the thrill of red chalk. Red chalk is an exciting new project imported from our exclusive mines of Albania. And why is it 10 times more expensive than domestic white chalk? Because it's worth it. Chalk is organic and arsenal. These mines are so dangerous that the average of 16 people perish every week in the quest to bring you your finest red chalk ever harvested on the earth. Are you going to let them die in vain? Or are you going to visit redchalk.com and let them know their sacrifice mattered? Their final breath will remind you to pick up more coconut water. And don't worry about any red chalk dust mess, since you can put that dust on your healthy salad. Red chalk is extremely edible, and you can chew on it like a stick. We're still waiting on FDA approval from this claim, but we know it's going to help us and give it to you. Red chalk is a new miracle food with vitamins C, H, L, and K. Why else don't they call it chalk? Give it 20% off when you use your promo code GINTY. That's GINTY with a capital G. Only valid for orders of 20 pounds or more of red chalk. Mark up your life and dinner with red chalk. And now we return you to Robert Ginty, the Untold tapes.
I was heartbroken that, the paper chase only lasted that one season. But I mean, they put us up against, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and I guess the tail beginning of Three's Company. And I'm like, people go home, they don't want to think, they don't want smart people doing smart things. They want to see Suzanne Summers' ass, they want to see the Fonz, and they want to, imagine what Laverne and Shirley were really up to. But, I don't know. I don't hear stories about that, but, you get the idea. So the show got canceled after a year, and it was heartbreaking. I mean, I thought, hey, I was going to be a 5-year law student or something, but it was gone. And I was broken up for a while. I was broken up, and then one day I get a phone call from some guy, and I don't know how he got my number, but he said he needed a lawyer, and he wanted me, and I explained to him on the phone. I'm like, look, I just played a lawyer on TV show, on the paper chase. He's like, oh, that's okay. I like you as a lawyer. I think you can handle my case. And I'm like, I'm not, he's like, meet with me. And so I agree to meet with the guy because he's going to feed me. I mean, hey, who turns down free meals? So we go to Barney's Beanery, which is one of your best places to get beans, I was told. But mostly I just drank there whenever I had to drop by. But we go to Barney's Beanery. And, I've got like thousands of excuses why this guy shouldn't be hiring me to be his lawyer. And he pulls out this wad of bills and puts it on the ground, on the table. And, and there was a bill for every excuse I had. And he's like, can you handle my case? And I'm like, I'm not really a lawyer, but yeah, I'll handle your case as I take the money and make sure he picked up the tab, And so, but I'm thinking, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to, this is stupid. But, hey, I got 22 episodes of law school in my belt, so I ought to, maybe I can handle this. I don't know. But, I figure what's worse. He pays me, and I told him I'm not really a lawyer, and so if I get kicked out, I keep the money. Or I'll probably have to hire a lawyer to keep the money or something. But, you get the idea. So I go down to the courthouse, dress up not a little nicer than I usually am. And I walk in the courtroom, and it was the strangest thing. Like, I figured the judge would ask for I don't know, they have like a law ID or something, or, let me see this. Are you registered? Are you part of the bar? And none of that. The judge looks at me and goes, it's you. Well, that's great. And I'm like, yeah, it's me from the TV show. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. You're the lawyer, right? You're the counsel. I was like, yeah, I'm his counsel. And the guy's standing there next to me, and he's all smiling like, what the hell? This is all good. And then the strangest thing happened, because I'm standing there at the table, looking like a lawyer and all that. And the guy on the other table and his lawyer start talking to each other. And, within like a minute and a half or something, he's like, we'd like to settle. And I'm like, huh? And next thing you know, they gave my client, what he wanted. And off we went. That was it. That was it for the courtroom. I won my case, I guess. And, the judge was all nice and, oh, great to have you in my courtroom. I was like, thank you. And it it was great. And then word got out. And the next thing you know, for about, I would say a good long while, I was doing some lawyering in this town. And it was kind of strange, because I explained to everybody I'm not really a lawyer. And yet, there I was in court, doing some lawyer stuff here and there. I mean, look, I've done enough law shows and stuff besides, Paper Chase. But it felt kind of good. It felt kind of good to be a lawyer, and I mean, okay, granted, at the end of the day, there are 3 people on death row that I was their lawyer, but honest to God, those people were just guilty as sin. I mean, there was no way. I looked at it this way. They could call me a crappy lawyer all they want, but ultimately, I took a bullet for somebody else's career, so they didn't have that black mark on it. They were guilty. They were guilty, and I'm how do you defend a guilty person that hard? What the point? So yeah. So I did pretty good. I did pretty good as a lawyer. Next thing you know, I get word that Showtime is bringing back the Paper Chase with Houseman, and I'm not mentioned. And I'm kind of, for 1 minute, I'm bummed out. I'm like, what the hell? This isn't going well. And I'm at Alan Hale, his little seafood joint there, and Alan comes up to me. The skipper, Alan Hale Jr. there, and I tell him what's going on. And he looks at me and goes, Ginty, you just did The Exterminator. You're a movie star. They can't have you on that show. What? You're a bigger star now than John Houseman. Well, what's that going to look like if you're like fourth banana on this show and you're the guy who, everyone loves the flamethrower thing? And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. He said, yeah, damn right I'm right. I'm the fucking skipper. I love Alan. Alan was beautiful. And a beautiful restaurant. If you ever go to, it's not, I don't know if it's there or not or anymore. Yeah, Alan's not there anymore, so what the heck. But, Alan, and so, yeah, I didn't go back to, I didn't go back to the Paper Chase. But, hey, I was a real lawyer for a while, and that was good. That was kind of good. So, remember, good things can happen. And also, nobody ever asked for your lawyer ID. Or maybe your lawyer does. Don't do this at home, folks. Don't try it at home.
This has been the second episode of Robert Ginty, The Untold Tapes, The Paper Chase Year. Robert Ginty, The Untold Tapes is a production of Ginty Worldwide Domination Experience. If you want to know more about Robert Ginty, why not go visit your local law library? Librarians of the law are eager to tell you about Robert Ginty. Robert Ginty of Untold Tapes does not contain any real Robert Ginty, but we do think these stories could be told by Robert Ginty. He did appear on The Paper Chase with John Houseman. We have no proof that he pretended to be a real lawyer. Your law library has a DVD of the first season of The Paper Chase that features Robert Ginty on the cover. You know it because he's hotter in it. Copyright 2022. Voices are Josie Corey and Joe Corey. And thank you to our welcome sponsor of Red Chalk.